is Johnny Cage, which is the same name of my favorite fighter in Mortal Kombat, and I am expecting to see a fatality here, Jake.
Well, I'm about to test people's video game knowledge because nut shots are illegal in MMA, and Johnny Cage is well known for that in the world of Mortal Kombat.
But you can get away with one before you get the warning.
That's true, that's true. All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this bout will be 3 2-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 184.4 pounds. He represents More Grind Fight Team, making his fight debut out of Cathedral City, California. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hector Horo. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, he stands 6 feet 3 inches tall. He weighed in at 184.3 pounds. He represents Ocean Pacific MMA, making his fight debut out of San Diego, California. Please welcome Johnny Cage Dreaden. Your referee for this bout will be Rafael Davis. Jonathan Romero.
All right, Jonathan Romero, our referee, ready to kick things off here for Lights Out Xtreme Fighting 17. Amateur bout in the middleweight division. Johnny Cage in the red trunks. Hector Haro in the black, shoots in for a takedown.
Yeah, wasting no time and getting in and tangling up. Puts Johnny Cage down on his back and has been unloading a barrage of ground and pound. What a blitzing attack.
Johnny Cage trying to turn that into a leg entanglement of some time, back up to his feet.
Oh, his opponent's giving him no room to breathe, though. This has been non-stop actioning from the open bell, Jake.
Now a little bit, the break in the action, and Hector Haro back in on this takedown.
Yeah, beautiful job there, switching back and forth between striking and grappling, which is very high level and you don't see often enough. And, oh, he might have a choke here, Jake.
That looks like it's under the chin.
Let's see it. Johnny Cage doing the right thing by trying to fight the other hand down, but he's beautiful job there, escaping what looked like a very deep rear naked choke, and now coming up on top of his opponent. Let's see if he can keep him on his back.
Yeah, Hector Haro's got to be kicking himself right now. That was pretty much sunk in rear naked choke, and now eating some punishment.
Yeah, especially this early in the fight before guys are covered in sweat, and now Johnny Cage on his back looking for a choke of his own. Is this gonna be it, Jake?
40 seconds to work.
You know, having these shin pads, like we said, this is amateur fighters, so they have a little extra protection, makes it so much harder to retain positions because the shin pads don't quite allow you the same gripping power as your raw legs, but Johnny's still looking for the neck.
Could he turn this into a choke? Hard to see from this angle, but Hector Haro back in on the takedown.
Yeah, beautiful job there. Johnny Cage gets the judo throw, ends up on top, but Hector does not want the bottom and uses the underhook to fight back up. Man, this has been a scrap thus far.
Oh, you can already see the energy expenditure on both athletes, though. Here in the first round, right hand connects for Hector Haro. And that's going to be round one.
Man, Jake, I'm glad with the commentary table because I am not entirely sure who just won that round. That was incredibly close. Both guys, close submissions. Both guys landed some shots. I got to take a look at some of these highlights.
Yeah, it was really back and forth, Blake. I mean, and not a lot of power on display from Jonathan in that round, mostly due to just the incredible grappling exchanges between the both of them. But Hector Haro, even with his big takedowns, had a big look at a rear naked choke early on. This was Jonathan trying to make it back and get a rear naked choke of his own. I mean, it was back and forth. It's hard to tell who won the round.
You know, I think I would give a slight edge to Hector there, being more of the aggressor, and Johnny being the one countering some of those things. So as close as that round was, if I had to judge it, a very, very slight edge to Hector.
Jonathan enjoying a 3-inch reach advantage, fighting out of San Diego, California. His opponent, Hector Haro, from Cathedral City, California. Both of these competitors below the age of 25.
And I always like looking at guys coming into the round. How do they feel going into this next round? And both these dudes want to get right back to the action.
Well, I want to see Jonathan put his hands up a little more. Hector Haro landed a big right hand at the end of that round. That, I mean, just a little bit more, and it could have really connected on the chin. And now Hector Haro landing some strikes against the cage.
Yeah, those were some big shots. Did you see John? Whoa, another judo throw by Johnny. Is unable. Whoa, is this full mount? I can't quite see from our position here.
Now returning the favor yet again, and now on the back.
You know, I can't see how well. Like, he's not quite under the neck and didn't have any hooks in. I don't think he's going. Yeah, Hector gets up a little bit. Hector's doing a fantastic job of utilizing his wrestling to be the aggressor. I'd like to see if they get back on the feet. Johnny, start to use that reach advantage that you had mentioned.
Just a little over a minute left in this, the second round of our first amateur bout of the evening here at Lights Out Extreme Fighting 17.
Johnny, I think, did a good job there, not expending too much energy from Turtle, because Hector Haro came out very, very hot in the first and second rounds. And here's where I'd like to see Johnny Cage maybe hold his ground and start throwing some straight punches. We saw him get taken down here at the beginning of the second round because he stepped in and threw a knee.
Hector Haro back in on the takedown, going back to the plumb line.
And just ran him over. Got Johnny down to his butt, but he is not completely down. If Haro can step over and potentially secure full mount here, it could be a very bad position for Johnny Cage.
Oh, possible guillotine attempt by Hector Haro. He's got the hand over the top, elbow up. It's going to make it difficult for Johnny Cage to get out of here.
You know, I don't know how great the control is on the body, but it definitely looks like Johnny Cage is doing the right thing, fighting the hands. But maybe he is about to tap here. Ooh, very smart. Yeah, those look mean and actually opened up the control. Now Haro has to deal with Johnny Cage on top. Not a whole lot of time left on the clock. And another very, very close round between these two very game competitors.
A close match indeed between these two in our first bout of the evening. Perhaps a little more clean cut. I would say that was a little more in the favor of Johnny Cage just due to positional control. But Hector Haro not far behind. Let's take a look at some highlights.
Yeah, man, we got to look at these highlights. You know, these strikes right here, and then how close Haro looked like to potentially getting that high arm guillotine. But again, a very close round.
And this Uchimata in between the legs adjusts, throws the leg, and ends up on top right against the cage. A great option in mixed martial arts to go for that Uchimata off the overhook.
Here's this high arm guillotine, and it looked pretty good, especially right here. We see Johnny Cage trying to fight that elbow down. Wasn't having success pulling those arms off, and we saw him just start blasting those elbows to the leg to open it up. And sometimes when you can't technically get out of a submission, you just start pounding on him.
Third and final round, kicking things off here at Casino Palma.
Man, and the crowd is just as excited as we are. This is such a great start to this card here at Lights Out Extreme Fighting 17.
Yeah, like we talked about in the pre-show, there's a certain energy that all these athletes bring in, and in this third round, let's see what kind of adjustments both of these fighters are going to make.
You know, I think Johnny's stepping forward is a mistake. Twice now we've seen him step forward with offense, and it resulted in a takedown, just like this almost here. And Haro has a great body lock. Almost all of his takedown attempts have been based off that. Then again, Johnny Cage has been able to get that Uchimata throw twice, but not this time.
Now Hector Haro in a great spot here with plenty of time to work.
Yeah, 90 seconds, and this time they're right in the middle of the ring, which is a much better place to retain top position. And he's got that Dagestani wrist lock. Oh, Johnny Cage gets his arm back, though, but his back is flat on the mat, which makes it that much harder to get up or mount any type of submission defense from the bottom.
Blood trickling out of the right side of the head, right behind the ear of Hector Haro.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe it's a
look at this.
Almost like a quasi full mount.
Right hands, one after the other, and now left. Hector Haro opening up here in the third round.
Well, Cage was throwing some up kicks, and those are an extremely dangerous attack.
Possibly putting his head in another guillotine attempt momentarily.
Haro doing a much better job this time of securing a top position. Now we see him in full guard, which in my opinion, with 30 or 40 seconds left on the clock, is the right place to be. Posture up, maybe come to your feet and start throwing some bombs down on his opponent, who does not like these shots.
I gotta
might
say,
be out here.
this has been the most one-sided round of the fight. Hector Haro has been landing shots from the top position. He smells blood in the water, Blake.
Referee Johnny Romero is very close to potentially stopping this fight, looking in, but doing a great job there by continuing to let them fight.
10 seconds. And if there was ever a time for Hector
triangle
Haro,
attempt. Not quite enough time, in my opinion, to finish it, but at least we are seeing some defensive submission work from the bottom. But Jake, I'm not sure it was enough there.
well, you know, if there was ever a round that was going to decide the fight, you got to think it was that third round. Both of the first and second round were so close, back and forth, but in this third round, it was all Hector Haro.
Yeah, here's this quasi almost full mount where, in my opinion, the majority of the damage that Hector Haro landed was right here. And it started really damaging his opponent enough that you saw referee Jonathan Romero looking close. He watched a few of these hammer fists. I almost thought he was out for a second where his hands kind of dropped down. And the referee, best seat in the house, didn't jump in because he saw exactly what was going on. Some of the best referees in the business are here, the California State Athletic Commission.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with Tyson Johnson's official decision. Well, we're about ready to get the official decision between Jonathan Dreaden, Johnny Cage of Ocean Pacific in San Diego, California versus Hector Haro of Cathedral City, California, fighting. Seems like Johnny Cage thinks that he's got the job done. Hector Haro taking some deep breaths. That was an energy expending match for sure.
Yeah, it was non-stop action from the opening bell until the closing bell. And like you said, I think the third round is the only one that decisively went to one or the other. So I think somebody may be disappointed here in a second when they read off this decision. But you know who I can tell you is not disappointed? All the fans here at Lights Out Xtreme Fighting 17, because that was an absolute scrap, and you can expect more of that on the following matchups.
Yeah, people are actually already on their feet just waiting for the decision here. And it looks like we just about have our decision ready as Tyson Johnson seems to be moving into position. And just like that, let's take it over to Tyson Johnson for the official decision.
Applause for both of these gladiators. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 exciting rounds, judge number 1 scores about 29-28, Haro. Judge number 2 scores about 29-28, Dreaden. And judge number 3 scores about 30-27 for your winner by split decision out of the blue corner, Hector Haro.
Well, Hector Haro